It just feels like there are so many huge things happening right now. This week, we're going to start with this. Conversations, confusion, joy, anger, all about the future of abortion rights in our state and beyond. We'll have an academic's insight into why this issue will have such a unique impact this November. And Iowa's top business leaders still have more confidence than worry about the rest of this year when it comes to the economy. However, we're going to look at why some are concerned about two specific groups of Iowans. And when the field of dreams is not enough by itself, we're going to challenge one business leader with the question of what should be next for Iowa's priorities.
From your local election headquarters, this is The Insiders with Dave Price.
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court has elevated the issue of abortion rights into greater prominence by essentially eliminating what had been a half-century legal protection for the right to an abortion. Nationally, as retiring Justice Stephen Breyer leaves, abortion rights gets greater prominence in congressional races for this November. Then in Iowa, the issue gets added significance in the races for governor and the legislative seats. Also adds some uncertainty here since the issue is now left up to the states.
If you are an individual who believes that every woman should have a right to abortion, this is a bad idea because it means that you have reproductive rights in one state and not in the neighboring state. And conversely, if you believe that life begins at conception, you would find this to be pretty horrifying because either it means that you are, that a fetus is a life in one state and it's not in the next state. So we're going to be seeing efforts to try and get state laws passed to be uniform on either side, and that's going to be just equally contentious. So there's a lot of interesting questions that are coming up. Questions about whether or not states can regulate postal service or regulate people traveling to get medical care in another state, or can they receive through the mail or UPS medical prescriptions that are prescribed by a doctor in another state. And so I know that we will be hearing more from both legislatures and the courts in the coming months and years.
Because the way this works out, where you almost have two parallel tracks where Democrats nationally want to try to codify, but then because this becomes a states' rights issue, can you think of an issue such as this that comes to mind that has this kind of magnitude?
I would, in terms of, I think, impacting literally millions of people, people who could become pregnant. So we're talking about trans men and fertile women. So these would be women who are under the age of 40. And we're talking about, tens of millions of individuals. And now we're faced with a real patchwork of laws. And people say that we have returned to a pre-Roe situation, and that's not exactly true either. Prior to the Roe decision in 1972, there were only 3 states in the union that had legalized abortion, and 2 of them, Alaska and Hawaii, had legalized it only for the residents of their states. And of course, both of those states are geographically isolated. The only state that had abortion legal for all comers, as it was New York, which did, in fact, see quite a bit of medical tourism for people who were seeking abortion. So in one sense, with a number of states, a good dozen or more that are likely to keep abortion legal within their borders, we're in a somewhat different situation than before Roe, right? There are going to be more opportunities for women who are seeking these services, but it is certainly going to be fewer than what it was, just a couple of weeks ago when it was legal nationwide. Yeah.
Is this an issue that transforms where the energy, the advantage is with one party or another, where you look at so many polls right now that would seem to indicate not a good outcome for Democrats for economic reasons and others? Does this supersede that?
I don't know that it will totally upend the fall elections. You got to remember that the Democrats are really really, pushing the rock up the hill, and it's going to be tough, right? So, historically, with just a couple of exceptions in the post-World War II period, the president's party, the party that holds the White House, loses seats in the House of Representatives. There have only been a couple of times when that hasn't happened. So there are historical forces against the Democrats. And on top of that, the two best predictors of how the president's party is going to perform in a midterm election is the president's approval rating, which is hovering around 40%. It's nothing to write home about. And then also the state of the economy, which, is not good at all, especially with, record high inflation that we haven't seen since, I don't know, the Roe years in the mid 70s. So, I think the best thing that Democrats can hope for, again, especially given since a lot of filing deadlines have passed, their opportunities to recruit particularly strong candidates to run in swing districts throughout the country has largely passed, is that I think the best they can do is try and staunch the bleeding so that their losses are perhaps less than it would have been otherwise, or that they manage to maintain the same tiny majority that they have. But I don't think that we're going to see any tectonic shifts in 2022. I think, though, that this will be a huge issue going into 2024 from the presidential race on down the ballot. And the first harbingers of how that might go will be in 2023 when New Jersey and Virginia have their state level elections. And that's often a hint of how things are going to go in the subsequent election.
All right, up next, one final question for you. How you should expect the candidates to talk about abortion rights as they look ahead to the upcoming election.